Earlier today, at about 12:56, a few minutes before that, we received a call from a concerned citizen in reference to a suspicious person at the top of the Skyway Bridge. I arrived on scene at about 12:56 p.m. That's when I observed the subject standing and sitting on the concrete barrier on the northbound at the very top of the Skyway. He had no shirt on and he was drinking a Dr. Pepper. I walked up to him. I told him, "Sir, please don't do it. Don't do it today. You have more to live for." He explained to me, "No, actually, I don't." That's when he said 3 days ago he accepted Jesus Christ as his Lord and Savior, and he was completely okay. I explained to him that he does have more to live for, and he explained that he was having a rough week. He had just recently got an injunction with his wife and kids, so he wasn't able to see them, and he would be completely okay with jumping off the Skyway Bridge to commit suicide. I talked to him and I asked him, "Is there anything I could do to assist him? I'm here for him all day if he just needs someone, a listening ear." He explained he tried to do that with his wife 3 days ago, but she didn't listen. I told him I'm here for him all day. We began talking briefly. While I was talking to him, he did have one leg was over the bridge, dangling over the water. The other leg was towards the roadway on the shoulder. So while speaking to him, he said he worked for an ambulance in Manatee County, so we were able to relate with that. And we just talked a little bit about life. I'm also married and I have a kid as well, so we discussed a little thing. We discussed that, we laughed and joked. At one point, the entire time I'm thinking, I cannot let this man jump off this bridge. He needs to understand there's more to live for, and this too will pass. And so after doing that, after speaking with him for a few minutes, I noticed he did bring his other foot over, so he then had both legs back onto the roadway. I knew that was my chance then, so at that point I just jumped on him and I pinned him down, and I waited, and I just waited. I knew we had additional units coming, so I just waited at that time for any assistance to arrive. Luckily, we did have an off-duty FHP captain who arrived on scene shortly after, and he helped to assist me with taking him into custody, and at that point he was transported for medical evaluation.
All right. Couple questions.
Yes, sir.
Did he have a car up there?
He did have a car. He parked the car just south of him. So he parked the car and then started walking further up to the very top of the bridge.
Now, the moment you tackled him, you must have been pretty confident you weren't going to go the other way. I mean,
Absolutely. At that time, unfortunately, I knew I was battling against time because it was very apparent he had his mind made up. It was very apparent he would be okay with jumping off the bridge. Yeah. So at that point, I knew time was ticking for me. I had to not only one, gain his trust, but two, to take advantage of the right time to let him know that life goes on and suicide isn't the answer. So once he got both feet on the ground, I knew that the bridge is high enough to where it's a little higher than our waist for the concrete barrier. Yeah. So I knew at that point I had to take advantage of it, and I just jumped into action at that point.
How long do you think you talked to him before you grabbed him?
It was probably about 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow, so it was a lengthy
So we were talking there for a while, yes, sir.
Wow. So you say that you patrol the bridge. This is what you do.
Yes, sir.
Is this your first jumper you've come across?
This is my first one I've made contact with. Unfortunately, there are some times where the Skyway Bridge is known for lots of suicide attempts and lots of confirmed suicides. So this is the first time I've been able to respond and react prior to it happening, and I am truly grateful I was able to do the right thing and prevent another fatality from the Skyway Bridge.
How long has this been your patrol area?
This specifically, I've been doing this for a little over a year now. This isn't my specific assignment. I'm a DUI unit in Tampa. So this is an agreement we have with the Department of Transportation to assist with the suicide crisis.
Wow. So they realize this is a problem where they need a dedicated person?
We have dedicated personnel to be able to assist, and the ultimate goal is to be able to save a life. That's what I'm here for.
Do you have any sort of counseling training? I mean,
no, sir. They give us a little bit of training here in the academy, but at that point, once you make contact, everyone you meet with, everyone you make contact with, we're all different. Yeah. We may be able to relate to different things. There are certain things that you may be able to relate to that the next person or the next individual won't be able to relate to. So it's all on a case-by-case scenario.
Wow. So must have been kind of an adrenaline rush afterwards.
Definitely.
How do you cope with it? I mean, how do you come back to work and okay?
Well, at that point, when you're in the heat of the moment, like I said, the only thing that's going on in my head is to be able to respond and react and hopefully make the best decision. This turned out greater for everyone, but like I said, at the end, when it's all said and done and you get the adrenaline dump, you do realize that you were essentially dealing with life or death. You talk to people in law enforcement, you talk to people who are familiar with the job in itself and the stresses that come along with it. But like I said, dealing with it on scene, that's a no-brainer. It's just respond and react at that point.
Did he say anything after you grabbed him?
No, after I was able to fully get him in custody, once again, he just continued to elaborate that he was going through a rough time. And I told him, I explained to him, I understand that, and I want to let him know that life will go on and that this isn't the answer. So.
I'm assuming an ambulance came and took him away?
No, we did transport him to the medical facility.
Okay. Did you go in your car?
Another trooper responded to assist.
Wow. Okay. Am I missing anything?
No, sir. That's the gist of it.